It is 10:01 p.m. on the west coast of the United States. It is, let me think for a second, 0500 GMT, 0501, I guess now 0502 GMT. This is the fast food, junk food extravaganza for the 21st of March, 2015. I'm sad to say my partner in crime, Ms. Sarabelle, is unavailable to join us this evening. I'm going to be putting the phone number up here just so you can have a chance to join in. The number, of course, is the 310 area code 776-COONS. That's 776-5869. Feel free to just give a call. I left my phone somewhere charging, and that's a pain in the ass. But here we go. The fast food. I'm just setting things up here. So if you happen to be watching on tape, please feel free to fast forward a few seconds because it's going to be a little while here. Junk food extravaganza. Bam. Okay. Well, let's see. I had all kinds of things to talk about, and not a thing is on my mind. But it's because I had a whole list of articles to talk about by like Thursday, and then poor sweet Sarah found out just this evening was not going to be able to join us. And I'm like, well, I've got all this news, and it's not really going to hold. So let me. Wow, I just cannot win. I start something up, and turns out my technology's all awry here. All right, but give me about 2 seconds longer, and we will be enjoying discussions related to fast food and junk food. I did not really bring a snack to snack upon because I kind of had a late dinner and so on, but it is, of course, a beautiful thing to enjoy a good piece of fast food or a good bit of junk food, and a whole bunch of news specific to these topics kind of came across my news desk today. So we're going to or not today, this week, in the past 7 days or so. So I'm just adjusting one more thing here, and hopefully I'll be able to also bring you the part 2 of the Seabass and Sarabelle show, the two of us together. So she will appear on this show coming up in probably 45 minutes or so as we continue on. We'll bring you again part 1 of the Jack Wendy Kleiner Crown episode, and we'll continue and play part 2 at the end of the show, so you can actually compare your answers to the right answers in case you happened to join us last week. Okay. Here is the Seabass and Sarabelle file. Let us do a look at the stories. And of course, they're not updated. Let me just pick up my phone really fast because I have no idea where it went. Aha. Here is my lovely phone. The phone is what I took the notes on this week, which is why it's kind of something I need in order to proceed. I kind of had thought, because I use this app that is supposed to sync your notes across all of your devices, and then of course I turn on my device and I find that there is in fact no synchronization going on. But I will pull up the Seabass and Sarabelle file here, and we will look. Okay, I do have a file of started things here, but let me bring you this before anything else. Because what a great story this is. How bees revealed a big, huge marijuana farm. I believe this happened in, I want to say New York or New Jersey. Let me bring up the news story, and you can read along as I am reading it to you or discussing it with you. The story is from the Daily Beast. So I don't know. I mean, you can make your arguments as to whether or not it's a reputable news agency or not. The pot farm with cherries on top is the article. How bees revealed a pot farm beneath the maraschino cherries. Red-hued bees led authorities to discover the biggest ever marijuana farm in New York City in the basement of a cherry factory, triggering the suicide of the owner. So this is actually a pretty serious story. The Red Bees of Red Hook. If it weren't for the Red Bees of Red Hook, Arthur Mandela might still be the cherry king of Brooklyn and New York City's #1 pot grower. You might still be running his family's maraschino cherry factory while secretly operating the biggest ever pot farm in the basement in New York City. The bees changed everything because the explanation for what mysteriously turned the bees red indirectly gave investigators a pretext to twice search the factory after they couldn't get a search warrant. The second search was last week. This article is written March 3rd, so it's a couple of weeks ago by now. And it was led to the confirmation of what a tipster had told investigators 6 years prior. Mandela's double life ended with the 57-year-old father of 3 daughters committing suicide in a factory bathroom after shouting, "Take care of my kids," through the locked door. A suicide over an illegal pot farm. I find that tragic. That's really not something that should happen. People should not kill themselves. It sucks that, it shouldn't even be a crime, truthfully. But back in 2010, Mandela likely did not imagine that it would eventually lead to his undoing when urban beekeepers in the area surrounding Dell's maraschino cherries factory in the Red Hook section of Brooklyn started noticing their bees were producing bright red gunk instead of honey. The bees themselves were not actually red, but they assumed that hue when their translucent honey stomachs carried red stuff whose source was initially a mystery. The hue immediately brought maraschino cherries to mind. Some of the affected hives were halfway across the arbor on Governor's Island. Everyone was joking about the cherry factory, recalls Cerise Mayo, the keeper of the Governor's Island hives, as well as others in Red Hook. All of us were like, no, it can't be. Mayo figured at the time there is no way they're going to cross the water to the cherry factory. An apiculturalist then analyzed the red gunk and found red dye number 40. Both bees and spilled syrup, high fructose corn syrup, and red dye 40 were seen outside the factory. At the same time, Mandela was growing concerned about bees invading his factory. He contacted somebody at the blah, blah, blah business network who emailed the New York City beekeepers seeking help. We need somebody to be a bee consultant. And so a factory has been blah, 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 give me a call. I guess they placed an ad, and they found the factory feared the large numbers of bees would somehow get into the factory into jars of cherries. Theretofore, it did not happen. They also did not want any sort of negative PR, a la cherry factory poisons bees, which thankfully did not happen. Coate went on, beekeepers, particularly the hipster versions in Brooklyn, often lead a myopic sort of existence wherein only their worldview or their set of needs is valid or important. He continued, the factory employed hundreds, if not thousands, of Brooklynites over half a century and wished to ensure the longevity of their good name and product, such as it was. The beekeepers were annoyed that the bees were drinking runoff from a food factory. Everyone had a valid beef. So the cherry factory is pissed about the bees. The beekeepers are pissed that the bees are drinking this stuff. They made repeated visits to the cherry company that had started as a storefront run by Mandela's father, Ralph Mandela, and uncle, Arthur Mandela. Coate met with the younger... Who is Coate in this story? Let's go back. You ever do this where you sort of get into a story and you're like, who is Coate again? Coate. Mr. Coate. Okay. The founder of the Beekeepers Association. Andrew Coate was the founder of the New York City Beekeepers Association. Okay. And that guy made repeated visits to the cherry company that had started as a storefront run by Mandela's father, Ralph Mandela. The guy allowed them unrestricted and unaccompanied access to all areas of the property they wished, and an okay to document with photographs, which they did. The goal was simple. They were trying to understand the process by which the honeybees were getting into the high fructose corn syrup mixed with the red dye. These are maraschino cherries, after all, not real cherries. An amicable, straightforward guy who was totally open to talking about a solution. She said, you could have rainbow-hued honey. He was trying really hard to work with us. The rainbow honey was certainly an original good idea, but the stuff the bees made with the dyed syrup was not really honey at all and tasted terrible. Eventually, it was determined bees were feeding off syrup as vats of cherries were moved briefly along a sidewalk in transit from one section of the factory to another. I mean, the story goes on and on and on. But the New York Times ran an article headlined, "The Mystery of the Red Bees of Red Hook," suggesting the bees were feeding on runoff from the cherry factory. And then investigators discerned a legitimate way to further their stalled investigation. Back in 2009, an informant had told a U.S. postal inspector about a huge pot farm in the basement of the cherry factory. The postal inspector alerted the detective investigators at the Brooklyn DA's office. The information was secondhand. The informant had never seen the farm. The tip, nonetheless, rang true enough to pursue. The investigators staked out the factory building, but there were so many trucks coming and going they couldn't discern any suspicious patterns. They noted the building was outfitted with cameras and motion detectors, as well as razor wire on the roof. The informant had said the entrance to the underground farm was behind a set of shelves, a secret set of shelves. I love that. That's so Hollywood movie. In a garage where Mandela kept several luxury cars. He had a Porsche, he had a Rolls Royce, had a Harley Davidson, Bentley, Mercedes. All the vehicles were white, except for the red runoff. Ha ha ha. The investigators noted that when Mandela left for the day, he did not behave like your typical factory owner. He'd drive around the block, drive around 6 times looking for surveillance, an investigator recalls. The investigators followed him to his relatively modest house on Staten Island and saw that it too was outfitted with anti-intruder devices. Over 6 weeks of surveillance, the investigators never saw Mandela with an organized crime member, though it seemed he occasionally scored some cocaine for himself at the nearby Red Hook houses. Well, that must be nice. Guys into all kinds of stuff. In looking for telltale signs of pot cultivation, the investigators found the factory had high water usage, though that could have been explained by the demands of producing 1 billion maraschino cherries a year. The investigators also would have expected high electricity use, but the records showed none at all. They then learned from the fire department that Mandela employed 2 massive generators, perhaps as a way of masking actual electricity use. But the fire department concluded from its inspections what the investigators themselves saw: no basement, supposedly, according to the plans for the structure. When the investigators helicoptered over the factory with a thermal imaging camera, they failed to see the big glow that usually emanates from a marijuana growing house. The investigators might have had cause to doubt the informant. They had not taken a late-night stroll past the factory with the police dog to... The investigators might have had cause to doubt the informant had they not taken a late-night stroll past the factory with the police dog trained to detect pot. The dog became alert. They figured they had something. Still not enough to get a search warrant. The investigation had stalled when they heard about all the buzz in the news about the red bees and the talk that the runoff from the factory might be to blame. The Brooklyn District Attorney's Office was and is loath to recruit other agencies to conduct inspections without a justification, but the investigators now felt comfortable enough suggesting to the Department of Environmental Conservation that the possible runoff did merit a visit to the cherry factory. So the DEC, Department of Environmental Conservation, agreed, went through the building, checking sewer traps for evidence of illegally dumped syrup or other waste. The DEC also gave a good sniff for the smell of marijuana or other signs of a grow house. The DEC caught no scent other than that of the cherries, and it did not find a basement. The investigators were still not ready to quit. They kept coming back to see Mandela. After 4 or 5 times, the informant was finally told to leave his name and number. Nobody ever called. When Brooklyn DA Charles Hines failed to win re-election, the new DA moved to clear unresolved cases, including the cherry factory. Either close up the investigation or get in there and see what we got, an investigator says. Long after the mystery of the red bees had solved, the DEC used the old talk of illegal dumping to justify another inspection. Investigators came along from the district attorney's office, and the informant's tip 6 years before led them to the garage where Mandela kept his luxury cars. One of the investigators noticed a set of steel shelves on wheels. He yanked on them, and they did not roll. He then noted they were held in place by magnets in the way of traps, these secret compartments used in cars to hide guns and drugs. The investigator pulled harder on the shelves, and the result was like opening a huge trap. The shelves swung away to reveal a staircase leading down into a basement that the official plans said did not exist. They now had enough to get a search warrant. They went down the steps. They found themselves in a 2,500 square foot underground pot farm, the biggest ever found in New York City. There were 120 grow lamps shielded from thermal imaging by the floor above it. There was an irrigation system, all of it seemingly more than any one person could install. And he'd apparently just completed a harvest. Investigators found only 3 sacks, the total of 100 pounds of marijuana. They also recovered seeds for 60 kinds of pot and $125,000 in cash. I'm surprised there are 60 kinds of pot. I never do that. By one investigator's estimation, Mandela had 3 to 5 harvests a year, likely, making it a multi-million-dollar illegal operation to accompany the $20 million a year cherry business directly above. Some have likened the case to the TV show Breaking Bad. That comparison might have been more apt if investigators had been able to make the case immediately after that tip 6 years ago, when marijuana was still taken somewhat seriously. As it is in 2015, the very district attorney whose investigators made the bust had a policy of not prosecuting people caught with small amounts of marijuana. The Mandela tale is now breaking, not so bad. He was like a guy who had been caught with an illegal just as Prohibition was about to end. Oh, an illegal still, just as Prohibition was about to end. And that deepened the persisting mystery of why he'd gone into the bathroom and shot himself just after his mother had left the factory while his sister was still there. Parts of it may be that he'd never been in serious trouble before. The very fact that he had a valid pistol permit was proof that he did not have a felony record. And it might have been paranoia born of years of living a secret life. His mindset was so paranoid it probably cost him his life, an investigator says. I mean, this story goes on for a while here. Mandela's wake, and so on. All if not for those red bees, none of that would have happened. Who's that girl? Oh, that's some girl in a clickbait website. But yes, that's the story of how bees revealed a pot farm beneath the maraschino cherry factory. I think that's a pretty fascinating story. Given that it's got the the pot angle and the legal multi-million-dollar business angle and the bees that kind of tipped everybody off by turning red and all of that interesting stuff. If you feel like chiming in for any reason, here's the phone you'll be calling. It's 310-776-5869. Let's talk about other stories in the fast food and junk food related news, if I am able to do so. Where'd my list of stories go? Here we go. I have a whole big long list of stories. Let's see here. The mac and cheese recall. I guess we could call this one not macaroni and cheese, but metal-roni and cheese, because Kraft Foods has recalled about 242,000 cases of original Kraft macaroni and cheese. Let me bring up that story for you and let you see this one as well. Just be careful is the long and short version of the story. Let me switch over to it here and let you read along with me. Kraft recalls 242,000 cases of macaroni and cheese because of the metal fragment contamination. The boxes have a best when used by date from September 18th, 15 through October 11th, 15, and are marked with the code C2. They were sold in the U.S., Puerto Rico, Caribbean, South America. 7.25-ounce boxes sold individually and in packs of 3, 4, and 5. 8 consumers have reportedly found metal in the boxes, but they've not been informed of any injuries. Let's not click on the ads. If you have a box that says C2 and that kind of best when used by date, then you should return it to the place of purchase for a refund. Again, it'll have C2 on the code and a best when used by date of September 18th, 2015 through October 11th of 2015. Okay, let's look at this story. We have some things to talk about regarding, well, sort of the labor aspect, I guess you'd say, of fast food. A lot of people work for fast food companies. It's kind of traditionally the first job you have. In this case, this is the story from pastemagazine.com about robots that may become the future fast food employee. Kind of like, as they were saying, Bender here. If you've ever pulled up to the drive-thru and thought the employee on the other side of the intercom sounded like a robot, it was probably laughable at the time, but it may become a reality in the future. According to Mashable, let's click on the Mashable story here, why robots may soon replace fast food employees. There's a pizza making fast food robot, apparently. Imagine if the assembly line at your local McDonald's was as automated as the ones that make cars in Detroit. A new report from financial services firm Cornerstone Capital Group makes a solid case that humans behind the counter may be going the way of the McDLT. The chief factors are climate change-induced spiking of food prices, the uncertain consequences of Obamacare, which could boost the cost of employees, and income distribution trends, which are increasingly a point of social and political contention. So essentially, food prices are spiking because of climate change. Employees are having higher costs because of Obamacare, or the uncertain consequences of Obamacare, may, they're saying, and boost the cost of employees. I was not aware of that. Income distribution trends, essentially, is the minimum wage going up to help people who work at fast food places be able to raise a family of 6 on a McDonald's salary. Since labor and food costs account for 60 to 70% of industry revenues, those factors threaten a category that already operates on slim profit margins. I've heard that about fast food. Raising prices isn't a viable option since fast food is a price-sensitive segment. That's always true. In fact, they're working on lowering prices, I think, at a lot of the fast food companies lately. Still, John Wilson, head of corporate governance, engagement, and research at Cornerstone, said we shouldn't expect to see automated kitchens for at least 10 years or so. On the other hand, we're already seeing mobile apps that let customers order their food ahead of time and then pick it up at the counter. That could make cashiers a bit redundant. Technology can also help cut costs by making the business more efficient. I've always said many, many times I would trust a robot car driving than a human driver. I would trust a robot more every single time. Robots don't get sick. Robots don't get drunk. Robots don't have to text. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a million things humans do wrong when they're driving, and that's evidenced by the number of people who die in traffic accidents every day. I do think that would go down if robots were in charge. Now, are not in charge, but were in charge of the driving. I think of the movie, what was it? It was I, Robot with Will Smith, right? Where the cars are driving and then the robots attack him. The robot delivery vehicle comes open and starts going after him and stuff. That was a good movie. As far as this story, they're less sure about robots taking over the kitchen. I think that would be a pretty badass thing. In fact, I would love to see a robot-controlled fast food kitchen because I think about that. That's just a really cool idea. With references to the back of house, automation in the kitchen, which can help improve labor efficiencies, will also reduce cost. But to some extent, it takes away the personal touch of a cook or chef. All right, well, let's stop right there. The personal touch of the chef at McDonald's? Not sure that's really a thing. In fact, I think more people would, for instance, you think about Subway. The people who make your sandwich at Subway, in general, wear plastic gloves. To the point where, now, if you see a person making a Subway sandwich who isn't wearing plastic gloves, it kind of freaks you out. Now, I'm sure their hands were clean before, as far as clean as anybody in the food industry, hands are. They generally are supposed to wash after every contact with cash or smoking or going to the bathroom, anything like that. So I think the plastic gloves, in a way, kind of maybe increased our mental goal line for what is safe and what is unsafe. It kind of moved the goalpost, if you will, to the point where now if you see someone without gloves, it grosses you out. I don't think it was bad. It was as bad really as that, but it probably has gotten a little safer. I don't see how it could hurt things that were, using the plastic gloves at Subway, for instance. But I mean, is that still the personal touch of the chef? Like, wouldn't a Subway sandwich be as good if it were assembled by a machine? I think it would probably be as good. It could be better. I mean, depending on, for me, it's all about how much mayo they put, how much cheese they put, right? If they do it right, I don't care if it was assembled by a chimpanzee, as long as the chimpanzee was wearing gloves and not flinging his waste, as you know. Okay. But yes, these changes may be less desirable by consumers. Overall, automation will likely save a few dollars, but likely will not be a big impact on restaurant operators who have and will continue to focus on service, hospitality, and a friendly smile. That would be missing. Again, I don't know that the friendly smile at McDonald's is necessarily something people hang their hat on or really, miss when it's not there, because I think a lot of McDonald's or fast food in general, not just McDonald's, have the reputation of being, in the Louis C.K. sense, right? Kind of entitled, kind of snooty, kind of like, ranging between, entitled and angry about having to work at McDonald's to just not giving a shit about anything, period. I think that's probably an unfair perception. I think people at McDonald's probably do care more than they get credit for. But I think the Louis C.K. sort of logic of how the people, the 20-year-old baristas at Starbucks do not give a shit about making anybody's, making anybody's coffee well, or, sort of making anybody happy. In the way he talks about the people who work at, say, Best Buy. The 20-year-old at Best Buy does not give a shit. He's like, does it have Blu-ray? Well, I guess I could read the box that you could have read. And the 60-year-old guy who wears a bow tie to, he doesn't have to wear a bow tie to work at Best Buy, but he's like, oh, well, let's find out. You need to know that, he says, right? So Louis C.K. is an excellent, excellent comedian. All right, let's go back to my list of fascinating and relevant infotainment stories to bring you here. The unhealthiest fast food burgers from around the world. All right, well, I shudder, or sort of almost hesitate to bring you this, because the truth is, this is a Fox News article, and many people shit on Fox News just at the outset. I have Mount Vesuvius on my nose as a personal note, so I'm apologizing right now for that, because I'm just realizing, looking at myself in the camera. Hello there, Rudolph. Won't you guide my sleigh tonight with your big zit on your nose? All right. But forgetting about the gross stuff, let's look at this story, because the unhealthiest fast food burgers from around the world. Now, these are fast food burgers and joints that we know, McDonald's and KFC and so on, but from around the world. KFC in the Philippines makes much different stuff than they make in the United States. Let's look at this story, because if you've heard, in fact, before we do that, I'm going to bring you a story I did where I invented the double cheese, double down. Hopefully, I can find it here, because I went basically to KFC and I ordered the double down sandwich. That's the sandwich where it's 2 fried chicken pieces with bacon and cheese in the middle. And I put the double down, inside a double from In-N-Out with double cheese. So I had the double cheese, double down. I will switch to it here. Let's take a couple of minutes and just enjoy something I created probably in like 2009. This is funny. Enjoy.
I woke up this morning and thought, gosh, what will I have for lunch? I don't know why I wasn't thinking about breakfast, but I wasn't. I thought, what's for lunch? In-N-Out Burger sounds delicious. I always enjoy a great double. Then there is my favorite sandwich from KFC that I get all the time now, called the Double Down. And I thought, oh gosh, you know what that Double Down is missing? Is like the lettuce and tomatoes and sort of the bun. That's really good, that bun. In-N-Out Burger. Then I thought, you know what, actually, it's not so much that, it's that the In-N-Out Burger is missing bacon and maybe some chicken. Oh. So I decided there needs to be a new product. Now, I did go on the internet and find that there has been before a double down. I decided to one-up that, however, and get the double cheese double to combine with the Double Down. Now, if you're not familiar with the KFC Double Down, just happen to have one here. Part of the appeal of the sandwich is that there is no bun. That's sort of part of the selling points. No bun. It comes in a, you can see here, a paper wrapper. Actually, sort of similar to the In-N-Out Burger, of course. But one of the things I will say about the Double Down sandwich, just about nobody knows, and it is not apparent on the internet or on television, is that it's much smaller than it appears on TV or in the pictures. When you see it on TV, it looks like it's the size of a Big Mac. And it's not. It's actually much smaller and much more sort of dainty, if you will. Now, oh, it smells good. If you don't know the contents, what a Double Down sandwich is 2 breasts of bacon sandwiched together. That is meant to be the bun. Inside, chicken. 2 breasts of chicken. Inside is 2 slices of bacon and 2 slices of cheese. It doesn't disassemble easily. This is going to still be on the outside, and we're going to join the double and the Double Down. And in case I haven't said it already, this is the double cheese double that the Double Down is going inside of. So we now have the double cheese double. Right there, we have, it may be a new creation on the part of me, Sebastian Kuntz, I don't know, but there we have it looks really good to me, I don't know, the double cheese, double down. Is it too big to eat? No. Is it too big to let you watch me eat? Yes. Although Although I am going to film it, so there will be video of this at some point. The double down. Thank you very much for watching. And now, lunchtime.
Whatever. That's really great. So thanks, Seabass, for that lovely and stimulating foray into fast food fucking gluttony, which obviously that was. I mean, I was more amused by the title. The real truth is that came about not because I sat up one day and went, "What's for lunch?" like I claimed, but I was thinking, oh, double down, double down. And I was amused by the wordplay. And I'm like, aha. So then I went on the internet. Has anybody ever done that? Because everybody's done everything on the fucking internet now. You could just type in anything and it's been done by somebody once. As I said, double down had been done. But you add double cheese to it, and that's a triple double or whatever the hell. I don't know. It was more of a lark and something I kind of one of my early forays into the fast food, junk food sort of, correspondent status. I mean, I kind of put myself out there as a fast food and junk food connoisseur and expert, and that's not true. I mean, that's not false, by the way. That is true in that I do eat enormous amounts of crap all day long, every single day. And, I'm very lucky that I have the metabolism that lets me burn it off. And poor sweet Sarah Bell, if she were here, my partner in crime on this podcast would be wanting to crucify me via the internet because she is not blessed with that kind of goat genetics. I swear to God, there's a goat in my genetic profile somewhere because only goats are the only animal I've ever seen that can literally eat anything up to and including a tin can, followed by a bowl of termites, followed by 16 Cadbury cream eggs and not have it bother them. But I am lucky in that way. So lucky me. Let's continue on. More sort of news and stuff to bring to you. The robot story I really like. The unhealthiest fast food burgers we started to look at, and I sort of got distracted by my own memories. Now let's look at the story I was going to bring to you, which is not that one. Oh my goodness, that's sort of incorrect. What a wild trip that is. Okay. Let me go back to here. Let my own camera be my guide for a moment, and then I will put the unhealthiest fast food story on the screen for you because that is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the kind of other weird things around the world that fast food companies produce. KFC caused quite a rumble recently when it introduced the Double Down dog in the Philippines. A Double Down hot dog replaces the bun with fried chicken patties, and it's instead of bacon in the middle, it's a hot dog. Whole thing is topped with a gooey yellow sauce that the company is calling cheese. What asshole wrote this? These damn people at Fox News. Who is it? Emily Alford, probably some foodie who has never heard of nacho cheese, whatever. Critics are calling the Double Down dog a travesty and abomination. Yeah, sure. I don't know that should be linked to something actually calling it that instead of just saying some people say. That's kind of a Fox News weak spot, by the way, quite frankly. And whenever they need to be able to, I don't know, sort of say something that's full of shit like we know Fox News frequently does in their conservative line of thinking. They say, well, some people say the Holocaust didn't really happen. Yeah, okay. Fucking retards, morons say that. I should not say retard. Retard is not politically correct. My apologies. That is actually, offensive to people with mental retardation, comparing them to Fox News anchors. But you kind of get my point, not to get distracted in political correctness, but seriously, there are stupid people who claim everything is not true, but that's not important to listen to them or sort of give them a chance to talk also. That is not what being truly journalistically fair or balanced is all about. So these idiots at Fox News really piss me off in a lot of ways. MTV News estimates, why is MTV News reviewing food? Okay, MTV News estimates the Double Dog Down, whatever it is, has 962 calories. KFC isn't alone in unleashing America's obsession with the over-the-top fried foods on the rest of the world. Brought to you by Belch Beer. It's just the latest. I'm not drinking beer. I'm drinking Mountain Dew. Just the latest in a long line of chains looking to expand their markets abroad by introducing strange calorie-dense fast foods to new customers. Blah, blah, blah. So let's look at the list with all it's Fox News introductory bullshit. Burger King Cheese Fondue, Japan. Regular orange squares of American cheese simply won't cut it in the land of the rising sun. Instead, Burger King aficionados can dip their burgers, onion rings, and fries directly into a big pot of melty cheese. Yum! Be advised that dipping your Whopper comes at a price. Adding 1 cup of fondue cheese brings up your calorie count by about 782 calories. But what about that? Being able to dip your big what do they have at Burger King? The Whopper. Being able to dip your Whopper just into melted cheese. Woo, Nelson, that's some badass fast food mojo mama jama. All right, let's continue on. There's a whole, I think there's 16 of these here. We're going to get through them. What's next? Burger King extra long chili cheeseburger in Germany and Austria. That looks like 3 hamburgers on one of those long Kaiser roll buns. 3 patty sub sandwich is probably meant to be split among friends. However, if you're the type of eater who likes a challenge, go for it. Beware, jalapenos and fiery chili cheese sauce, not to mention 808 calories, might make this burger better eaten in small doses. Yeah. I don't go for anything spicy, so the jalapenos and fiery chili cheese sauce already disqualify it for me, assuming I ever do go to Germany or Austria. Looks like so far Burger King's all over the place with this stuff. I had no idea they were so diverse in their world food offerings. Burger King Whopper Poutine, Canada. I just recently sort of was explained what poutine is. I did not know really much about poutine. Maybe it's a stretch calling this a burger since there's technically no bun, but the Whopper Poutine has everything else a good burger needs. Beef patty, pickles, onions, mustard, and ketchup. The addition of cheese curds, gravy, and fries. Holy motherfucking shit. The Whopper Poutine packs about 880 calories. In case you were worrying that the lack of bun made it diet food. Yeah, whatever. KFC Zinger Double Down King, South Korea. Double Down KFC Zinger Double Down King. That's what it's called. Oh, I see. We've talked about this one before on the show, although this adds a twist. The American Double Down only has bacon and cheese sandwich between the 2 fried chicken patties. The Zinger Double Down King adds a beef patty and barbecue sauce in between the 2 pieces of chicken. That sandwich, I was still surprised. It's only 750 calories. Talk about artery blockage, though. Good Lord, that's going to be fun. In China, McDonald's mashed potato beef burger. Okay. What goes better with 2 beef patties than a couple of strips of bacon? How about a big scoop of mash? Potatoes, I assume, is what they're talking about there. At McDonald's in China, mashed potatoes are a condiment on this giant burger. And they have more weird and unhealthy burgers from around the globe. Oh, I thought there were 16 burgers on this list. Turns out it was posted on the 16th. But let's just see from this daily meal if there's anything.
Previously,
what?
Camry's race to the restaurant.
What the hell?
The Vietnamese coriander for tonight? I thought you were picking that up at the farmer's market. Okay.
Is this something that is playing? I'm going to have to hit mute here because I do not want whatever that is to be playing on my show. Thank you very much. And I still don't know the source of that, so I'm still trying to silence it, and I'm having some trouble doing it. I was sure it was on this page that I just opened, too, and it somehow does not appear to be. All right, well, that's really great. Is it still? Yeah, it's still playing from somewhere. Okay, I have to look for everything that I've opened. Oh, I see where it is now. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that another day. Anything that automatically plays audio on the web needs to be put aside. Thank you very much. Hey, that's my substitute teacher general information. I may become a substitute teacher in the next little while. Not that you cared about that. All right. And believe me, I'm going to teach them all about fast food and junk food. No, not really. But let's proceed. The big topic, in fact, what we can do is I am able to go here to part 1. Let's go ahead and I'll kind of stop down here. Mention you are watching the fast food, junk food extravaganza. We do it every Saturday night here. Normally I'm with my partner, Sarah, and we're able to, kind of have a real good time. She has her own perspective on sort of what makes good fast food, what makes good junk food. And she's also as much of an aficionado as me. And she gave me my fat kid what, honorary fat kid status, even though I'm completely scrawny. In the meantime, let's go ahead and rewatch part 1 of the latest edition of Seabass and Sarabelle together on the fast food and junk food extravaganza. If you'd like to call the number here, 310-776-5869. That is 310-776-KUNZ. I'll be back talking with you live in about 15 more minutes after, or I guess 12 minutes after this program has had a chance to play.
Sarabelle.
And I'm Sebastian. Welcome back to yet another edition of our Fast Food Junk Food podcast here. We still don't really have an official name for it. I just like calling us the experts of crappy food. I've actually been sort of used as a fast food / junk food correspondent on the radio. My old friend Gil Gross on the radio in San Francisco actually has used me when he needs sort of a person to talk about junk food,
right,
or bad food or fast food.
Yeah.
I contend that fast food is not bad food.
Right.
What do we have coming up in this edition of our podcast, Miss Sarabelle?
It is the thing that I cannot say that you keep saying with the thing, the clown and king or whatever.
Jack Wendy, clown or crown?
Yes.
Jack Wendy, clown or crown? What could that mean? I hear you cry. I hear you cry. Well, here's essentially what the game is all about. I name you a celebrity.
Yes.
You tell me if their favorite place to get fast food is Jack, Wendy, the clown, or the crown, the McDonald's or the Burger King. Now, the truth is there's some Taco Bell in there.
Okay.
There's some In-N-Out in there. So it's actually Jack, Wendy, Clown, Bell, Crown, or whatever the hell the logo of In-N-Out Jr. is. Star. Oh, God. Carl's Star. I forgot the star.
Yeah.
I think we maybe don't have any Carl's ones this week.
Okay, good.
That's coming up. We're going to do the questions first. Mm-hmm. Just the questions here.
Okay.
Of our celebrity fast food game in the first segment.
Okay.
And then in the second segment, we will reveal the answers. So you can play along here on YouTube. Just answer the questions as, we're going to write them down yourself. We have 12 celebrities, and I'm going to have you sort of go through and write down the celebrities. And then we're going to do this. Okay.
All right.
What else is coming up?
What did I just eat?
It's
your turn now.
This is kind of where we like to explore, new products or just eat kind of products.
Different.
Yeah. So just like this is where we compared breakfast cereal bars one time, live on the road in the car kind of thing. What are these?
These are Nestle Butterfinger peanut butter cups.
Nestle Butterfinger peanut butter cups.
I can smell it.
I can smell it too. Now, these are peanut butter cups. Who usually makes peanut butter cups?
Reese's.
The Reese's folks.
The Reese's peanut butter cups.
Exactly right. Now, do you like the Reese's peanut butter cups?
I do like Reese's peanut butter cups. I don't like the paper.
You don't like the paper?
I don't like the paper.
I've never heard anybody say that paper makes a damn bit of difference either way. What on earth difference does the paper make?
Having to unwrap it. When you are trying to drive, and it's been a lot of time in my car eating, okay? Ever since they came out with the Rhesus Minis, they are mini, and they are not wrapped. I have appreciated the non-paper Reese's.
Interesting. Are you talking about the Butterfinger Bites?
No.
No, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Minis. I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you don't like them. And the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Bites don't have paper on them?
They do not have paper
because they had Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Minis that did have paper on them.
Right. These are the Bites. These are the even smaller than the Mini.
I've said this before on the show. I don't think we need to keep going smaller. Keep going smaller until we have, look, I have 60 M&Ms in the palm of my hand. Yeah. I don't need micro M&Ms. Right. I don't need small York peppermint patties. Mm-hmm. I got Junior Mints for that.
Junior Mints are good, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But I do like the Butterfinger because they don't have the paper.
I've honestly never even considered that the paper in a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup could ever be a factor. That's really weird to me.
I drive a stick shift. You need both hands. Instead of like a automatic, you can kind of just like rest.
You can't just do it at the stoplight?
No, because I do a lot of freeway driving. There's no stoplights on the freeway.
Well, I've always said there are certain foods that maybe shouldn't be eaten behind the wheel of a car.
And something you have to unwrap.
But putting that aside, this does solve that problem because there is no paper in. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
You don't have to wait for me.
Okay.
There is no paper.
There's no paper.
If you notice watching this podcast, we try to eat them one person at a time, because generally the person who's eating probably isn't talking, and the person who's talking probably should not be eating. What are your thoughts? That said, what are your thoughts? Here are my thoughts. It is essentially a Reese's peanut butter cup with a Butterfinger flavored filling, but it's a peanut buttery peanut butter.
And it doesn't have the what is it? A wafer that's in Butterfingers. It's that kind of toffee.
I wouldn't call it a wafer, but it is much more solid.
Toffee. It's a solid crunch.
It's a solid, crunchy, peanut buttery kind of
which this
filling.
does not have a lot of. It has it in there speckled.
There's speckles of regular Butterfinger in this much more peanut buttery, yet Butterfinger flavored flavoring. It's kind of like the stuff that's frozen in a ice cream Butterfinger bar. If you had the ice cream Butterfinger bars, there's kind of a bit of that.
Right.
I don't know. Rate this 1 to 5. 1 low, 5 high. Do you give this a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
I give it a 4.
A 4.
Because I really like the crunch in Butterfinger.
And you like it better than a Reese's peanut butter cup? No. Oh, we have some equivocation now. Suddenly that paper isn't such an evil thing.
If I want a peanut butter cup, I'm going to go to Reese's. But
you don't think this is a peanut butter cup? All the controversy. This is really amazing.
I got too much Butterfinger flavor.
Please keep talking with peanut butter on your mouth. This is great. This is great podcasting.
It has too much Butterfinger flavor to qualify strictly as a peanut butter cup.
This is too Butterfingery to qualify as a peanut butter cup?
As a strictly peanut butter cup.
Whatever. Here's the thing. It is kind of its own animal.
Yeah, it's an animal.
That does not bother me.
That's good.
I've noticed this. It's super freaking rich.
I'm not going to have a second one.
I was just going to say, in a world where I can eat both Reese's peanut butter cups in a Reese's peanut butter cup package,
right,
and it's no big deal. We got 4 in here, and I'm not eating a second one.
Yeah,
I'm not even finishing the first one on camera.
I'm surprised. Well, I have no place
really
to put
good, but it is so rich. Like, it's insanely rich. And I'm not a guy who is susceptible to rich. That is the other thing. People are like, fudge. Oh, that fudge is rich. They're nibbling this little corner. And I'm gnawing on it. I'll slab of the, I do like. After the break, we're going to eat more Butterfinger, but what are we eating?
The minis.
These are the Butterfinger minis, which have the original Butterfinger inside.
Yeah, the
crunchy stuff. And boy, you want to see us not eat them? Do stay tuned for part 2 after the break. All right, here we go. Jack Wendy, Clown or Crown is the name of the game.
Right.
All right, what you're going to see is a list of 12 celebrities. And I'm going to, do you have a list of like 1 through 12?
Well, I'm going to, gotcha, right here, 1 through 12.
You've got a list here, 1 through 12. Okay. I'm going to read you these names, and you tell me, I need to tell you now. There is 1 crown.
Okay, 1 crown.
3 bells.
3 bells.
3 Taco Bell answers. There are 6 clowns.
Okay.
And there is 1, whatever the hell In-N-Out's logo is.
Okay.
Like a palm, I guess we should say a palm tree, right?
All right.
Okay. So the game in this case is not Jack, Wendy, Clown, or Crown, because nobody said Jack, nobody said Wendy. But the 1 person likes In-N-Out the best, 3 people like Taco Bell the best, 1 person likes Burger King the best, and 6 people like McDonald's the best. Of the following list here.
Okay, all right.
Number 1, Ben Affleck.
Oh, he's California.
He's California, so he is who?
He's going to be the In-N-Out.
In-N-Out, okay. So there's only 1 In-N-Out. Now, a lot of these people are California. Are you sure you want to use your In-N-Out on him?
Okay. No, you know what?
What?
Gonna use my In-N-Out on Katy Perry.
Okay, so who? Ben Affleck. Let's start with Ben Affleck.
Let's go McDonald's.
McDonald's, okay. Yeah. Number 2, David Beckham, the soccer player.
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush, the football player. Number 3.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. All right, I'm going to keep track here. You have said Taco Bell for him. You said McDonald's for David Beckham?
Yes.
And you said McDonald's for Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
Okay. You have 4 McDonald's left. You have 2 Taco Bells left.
Oh, geez.
Up next, former President Bill Clinton.
Oh, McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah,
that's actually kind of a famous thing, isn't it?
Yeah, he stopped for a jog, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, okay.
Number 5, Heidi Klum, She's a supermodel, if I'm not mistaken.
Taco Bell.
Taco
Let's
Bell.
just go to Taco Bell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, here's what you have left at this point. You have 1 Taco Bell, 1 In-N-Out, 4 McDonald's, and 1 Burger King.
Okay.
Next, Jennifer Love Hewitt. Who did she play in TV? Like, who do we know Jennifer
Party
Love
of
Hewitt?
Five.
Party of Five,
And
okay.
the Ghost Whisperer thing. Let's give it the Burger King.
It still could be any of them.
Yeah.
You want to give her the Burger
Burger
King.
King.
Okay, let me just check something here.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. You have her.
All right.
She's the only Burger King now. There's
Only
only
Burger
one
King.
on the list.
Okay.
All right.
I can
Up
handle
next,
that.
current United States President Barack Obama.
Ooh. I have Taco Bell and McDonald's left. Is that
You have 1 Taco Bell. You have 3 McDonald's. You have 1 In-N-Out.
I'm going to say McDonald's.
McDonald's for Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're seeing a pattern here. Before we continue, McDonald's, there's 6 of them
Right.
compared to singles for many of the others.
Right,
It seems
right,
like McDonald's is very popular among celebrities.
Yeah.
Katy Perry,
That was the In-N-Out.
In-N-Out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
That was
right.
In-N-Out.
I forgot. Okay, good. Now, the next one is actually 2 in 1.
All right.
Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
Oh, crap.
Oh,
I
crap.
can't imagine them eating at
You can't
any
think
of
eating
them.
I know,
Yeah.
I know.
Let's
Now,
go Taco
your In-N-Out is
Bell.
gone.
Yeah.
Your Burger King is gone.
So Taco Bell, McDonald's.
You have a Taco Bell left and 2 McDonald's left?
Let's do Taco Bell.
I'm sorry, you have a Taco Bell left and you have 3 McDonald's left.
Okay.
Possibly. I may have completely messed this game up, but I'm not really sure. We're running out of time, though. Let's get the
All right.
last 3. Britney Spears. McDonald's. Justin Timberlake.
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Last, Mark Zuckerberg.
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Because that's all that's left.
That's all that's left.
That's all that's left.
All right. We'll let you modify your answers
All right.
here in the next little bit. If you have any you want to change.
I think I'm okay with.
You're going to lock in your
I'm
answers?
gonna lock in
Final answers.
final answer.
All right.
No whammies.
No,
No
final
Emmys.
answers, no Emmys, no Emmys, stop.
Stop.
Well, stay with us. We will be continuing with part 2, and you can compare your answers to Sarah Bell's, see how many out of the 12 you got correct.
No cheating.
No cheating. I mean, we're on the honor system here. We have no prizes to offer you, but maybe someday if we get sponsored or something like that.
Yeah,
we
you
can
know,
offer
I have a wrapper here from the last What Did You Just Eat?
God, we
last
need to get it
week.
made. Well, you know what? You can have the last 2 of our
There we
Butterfinger
go. Yeah, that's it.
cups, peanut butter
Yeah,
cups.
Okay.
What else do we have coming up in the next segment besides the answers to Jack, Wendy, Clown, or Crown?
I have Who's Your Daddy?
Who's Your Daddy is coming up. Actually, that's in the next episode.
Oh, next episode, next break.
But we do have a little bit more to bring to you here. I'm Sebastian,
I'm Sarah Bell.
and we will be right back.
Hey, we're back. What do you know?
Next thing. I meant to have a third thing in there.
Yeah, I meant to have a third thing in there. Thanks for speaking out of turn there, Seabass. So that's part 1. We'll play part 2 in a few minutes here, but take a quick break. Let you settle for the answers that you may have given. By the way, if you're interested in calling, you can call 310-776-5869 is the phone number in case you felt like chiming in on any reason. The topic of fast food workers getting injured. It's not always, the super safest place. There's burns that can happen on a grill. There's knives that you can get cut. I was not aware of quite the magnitude of this problem. Excuse me. But it's actually a surprising problem, as a matter of fact. Let me get to the website here and show you what it is that I'm talking about. This is from CBS News in New York. And there's actually several articles I want to talk to you about and share with you here. But we'll start with this one. A survey of fast food workers says that some bosses have told employees use condiments as medical supplies. All right. Look at the ads all over this ugly ass page. God, CBS needs to figure it out. All right. I will highlight what I'm reading so you can try and ignore the ads if possible. Just rub some ketchup on that third-degree burn. Maybe some butter. That's what McDonald's workers say their supervisors tell them when they're scalded on the job. A survey commissioned by an advocacy group found that 4 out of 5 fast food workers had been burned on the job. Alex Silverman from WCBS 880 in New York says some workers have gathered to protest in Midtown. Let's just play the report. What the heck?
A survey commissioned by an advocacy group found that 4 out of 5 fast food workers have been burned on the job. Protest organizer and former McDonald's employee Kendall Fells says he met a worker who slipped on a greasy floor and hit the grill.
When she went to her manager and said, "Hey, I just burned my arm really bad," he said, "Oh, just go put some mustard on it, you'll be okay."
You heard that right. Put some mustard on it. Believe it or not, that same survey says a third of workers who were burned were also told to use condiments as medical supplies.
It does almost sound like a joke right up until the person that gets burned.
Workers in 19 cities have now filed federal complaints. McDonald's says it's committed to safety, adding that the complaints are part of the activist strategy to target the brand and get attention. Alex Silverman, WCBS News Radio 880.
Okay, I caught a typo in the text version. That should be now and not. Workers in 19 cities have now filed federal complaints in this story. I think that's really surprising. Like, I had no idea. I mean, obviously there's a lot of danger that could happen, but somehow I had no idea. A story in the Wall Street Journal, which I will look at next here, is a story about labor group trying to hold fast food chains responsible for worker safety. It may essentially be the same story we just listened. McDonald's says now it is reviewing allegations filed by Fast Food Forward, a union-backed group. Oh gosh, it's not going to let me see it without subscribing, but oh Lord, I hate this. Well, okay, I think it's the same thing essentially. Backed by the Service Employees International Union, trying to get historical protections, or to reduce historical protections for corporations that operate under franchises. In other words, since McDonald's is a franchise, it is not McDonald's Corporation that pays or that ought to be responsible when a person is injured. It is the franchise owner, the franchisee. Here in Kansas City, fast food workers have been publicizing their on-the-job injuries. Nearly 120 low-wage workers and their advocates rallied Tuesday. Let's see, let me find the date on this to make sure. 3/17, so this is about 4 days ago. So this was probably this week, actually. Rallied Tuesday in Kansas City, Missouri, to call attention to safety problems in fast food restaurants. It was staged in front of a McDonald's restaurant in Kansas City. Workers from McDonald's and Burger King spoke about insufficient staffing and pressure to work fast as the main cause of burns they suffered at work. Some say their stores lacked a first aid kit or the gloves needed to treat or prevent burns. Workers from Wendy's, Taco Bell, Popeyes also attended the rally. A report released Monday by a coalition of labor unions, that was that Wall Street Journal story that I couldn't read, said 79% of fast food workers had suffered burns on the job. That's massive. Again, I'm not sure how I feel about the franchise, or the corporation rather, necessarily being responsible for that. I guess it seems like it ought to be. On the other hand, what the responsibility ought to be is really good facilities and worker training. Not those are both things I sense may be, McDonald's is not going to want to train people, or any corporation is probably going to want to reduce costs as much as possible, but that doesn't mean you should have an unsafe grill, and that doesn't mean you should have untrained employees. So it seems like the solution is going to be having a workplace that is up to code, a restaurant, a kitchen that is up to code, or up to safety codes of whatever area they are, and then at the same time also train those workers to operate that damn machinery such that they don't burn their fucking asses. I don't know. I mean, I feel weird saying McDonald's ought to pay, but at the same time, we all know that these workers do not have enormous medical benefits or dental benefits or anything like that coming from the workplace where they work. And that previous article suggested one of the things Obamacare might do is increase healthcare costs for the lower income people. Oh, God save us. I mean, this is meant to be a fun, eating junk food and talking about it, kind of eating fast food and talking about it kind of thing. I didn't really want to get too deep and intellectual and down on a lot of these hefty news stories, but that's a serious thing. Both the issue of how much should fast food workers get paid, should it be enough to raise a family of four, on a salary of a McDonald's employee if they're say full-time fast food, or is it a stepping stone on the way to something more, and you should not want to be comfortable at a McDonald's job on a salary that they give you. I think there's kind of an argument for both sides. I do feel like instinctively that the minimum wage probably isn't high enough. People, I've been a low paid. I mean, I did radio for a very long time, but the thing people don't know about people who work in radio is nobody in AM radio is getting rich at all. And the amount of time I spent in San Francisco, it is magical that I was able to afford rent there at all. And I don't have a family to feed. It was just me. So it was pretty Pretty intense, pretty interesting. All right, that is the conclusion of our hour here, but I do want to bring to you part 2 of the episode of the latest fast food, junk food extravaganza with Sarah Bell. So we'll go ahead and watch part 2 here, reveal the answers, and watch us enjoy. There's actually a really good story about, do you remember when the deflated football scandal happened a couple of months ago? I mean, we don't really work to, I mean, a lot of these are kind of tape delayed to a certain extent, but this is a pretty goddamn good story that fell out of that story involving the deflated footballs, and it's chocolate. So stay tuned for some chocolate stories here, and we'll come back and wrap things up after the end of part 2 of the Fast Food Junk Food Podcast. By the way, if you feel like chiming in really fast, 310-776 Coons is the number, 310-776-5869. We'll talk to you in 12 minutes or so, and we'll wrap things up.
Hi, I'm Sarah Bell.
And I'm Seabass. Welcome back to yet another fun-filled episode of our extravaganza here. We just got done eating Butterfinger cups.
Butterfinger
Peanut butter cups. Which are delicious, but just like at the end of it, you really want to blow your brains out. Because of how good they were. Like, they're really just
They're really good.
If I had one
really
complaint,
rich.
it's too, like, they sit there and like a brick in your stomach,
Yeah.
you know? There's like a, you know.
Actually, mine's like kind of like at that back of my throat, kind of like, I need some water.
Please don't do a small burp. I don't know what that means either. You have a really great news story.
Yeah, I've got a wonderful chocolate news story.
And we're doing this actually on Super Bowl weekend. And in case you're watching us many weeks or months or years later, it's entirely possible. But this is something Super Bowl related that's actually very funny.
Probably the only sports related thing I'm ever going to talk about.
Well, certainly, but it's kind of ridiculous. And good old Fox News to rescue for doing this actually story on the weekend of the fast Super Bowl. Although the truth is, with a subject matter like ours, we could do a show on Super Bowl food.
Oh, yeah. I mean, with the commercials.
You know, I mean, this is about
snacks,
food, right? This is about the food.
Well,
so this would be all. I suppose commercials is actually not a bad topic.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do the food commercials of the Super Bowl sometime. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right. What did I just eat? The Butterfinger Bites edition.
The Butterfinger Bites edition. So this is the latest thing. This is now granted a giant economy size.
The giant economy size of the small size.
Right, but Nestle has been doing bite versions of all their chocolates. Bite Yorks, Bite Snickers.
Bite Me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the Butterfinger Bites. And I just so much satisfaction of ripping open that.
Especially when they're resealable. Wow, really?
Yeah, it's.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That is a punch you in the face smell if I ever heard one.
Yeah. So
smelled one. I just heard a smell, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god!
What's the
not as much LSD in the Mountain Dew. Okay, so now what we were comparing these to earlier was the peanut butter cups. These are not like that.
These are not like that because this is the actual normal Butterfingers, but tiny, and you can see. I mean,
it's like a Butterfinger candy bar, but a tiny piece of one.
A bite of one. And it's just, Pescados de Dulce de Butterfinger. Because I totally butchered that.
Our Spanish viewers really appreciate
but it is the same crispity, crunchy, peanut buttery taste that you took the bag away. Now I can't finish reading.
Same taste that you love in a Butterfinger bar in bite-sized pizza. Yeah. Again, these are good. These are okay. I'm choking on it. I think that I really resist this need to go small. I really don't care. I would rather have the big Butterfinger bar if I'm going to have a Butterfinger. These Butterfinger peanut butter cups are something different.
Right.
So they're not really in the same category. I'm not going to go for a Butterfinger bar if I'm in the peanut butter cup mood. And then you said if you're in a peanut butter cup mood, you're going to go for Reese's over this. Despite the paper that makes it so hard to eat a peanut butter cup while driving.
Now, the thing I know that people are concerned about, because it is January and it is traditional New Year's resolution, is that you can have 8 of these for 180 calories.
8 for 180 calories?
I'm not sure what our cups were.
I can look.
You can look. I have got crispity, crunchy peanut buttery taste in my teeth currently.
Serving size 1 cup, 1 peanut butter cup, 21 grams. Calories 110.
So you can have 8 of these for 180, or one of those for 110. And I don't know. I'm not a calorie counter. I don't care.
I'm not really a calorie counter. I mean, I'm surprised you even brought it up, to be completely honest. I'm not a calorie
I think
counter
about everyone else who
It
does
is mildly
the whole,
interesting.
thing.
I mean, I'd much rather try to talk about saturated fat. How much saturated fat's in there compared to the saturated fat in this? 4 grams, which is 20%. The saturated fat here, 4.5 grams, 21%. So, I mean, if you, again, as I've said before many times on this show, if you're going to talk about health implications,
don't freaking eat it.
You weren't going to eat these in the first place, probably.
Right.
But I hope that you learn from here that you can have one. And it's okay, it's not going to kill you. It's not the end of the world. It might not even make you feel like crap for all day long. Now,
the only way it could kill you is, if you're driving down the street, you tilt your head back. And
if you take both hands off the wheel to take the paper off. And then you crash into a Jelly Belly factory in California.
Yeah, in Arizona.
They don't have a Jelly Belly factory in Arizona.
But
I believe they only have. But you're going to drive through California
and hit the Jelly Belly factory
to get to Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. Don't argue with me on this. All right. We have our segment, Jack Wendy, King or Crown?
Yes.
Crown or Clown?
I want to know how well I scored.
How well did you score at home? Let's bring up the leaderboard here. We're going to bring up the list of celebrities and the guesses that Sarah Bell. Sarah Bell said, Ben Affleck, McDonald's. David Beckham, McDonald's. Reggie Bush, the football player, Taco Bell. Bill Clinton, McDonald's. Heidi Klum, Taco Bell. Jennifer Love Hewitt, Burger King. Barack Obama, McDonald's. Katy Perry, In-N-Out. Brad and Angelina, Taco Bell. Brittany, McDonald's. Timberlake, McDonald's. Zuckerberg, McDonald's. What does that sound mean? It means we have the answers. That's right. We have the answers as you look over my shoulder. The first was Ben Affleck. These are in alphabetical order. Ben Affleck, you guessed
McDonald's.
And the answer is McDonald's. Well done. You have one correct. Number 2, David Beckham. You said McDonald's. The answer is
Burger King.
Burger King. I'm sorry you missed that one. 1 for 2. Yeah. Reggie Bush, the football player. You said
Taco Bell.
And the answer is
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. 2 correct.
Yay.
Number 4 here. Bill Clinton, you said
McDonald's.
Everybody knows it's McDonald's. Well done. Heidi Klum, you said Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
And the answer is
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
No.
Such a shame. Jennifer Love Hewitt, you said Burger King. The answer is
she's our In-N-Out.
In-N-Out Burger.
She's our In-N-Out.
Jennifer Love Hewitt, In-N-Out. That's correct. I believe she was actually photographed. Let's take a look at the photograph here.
After an award or
yes,
something.
or something like
something
that.
like that.
Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, you said?
Can't read it.
TV, Taco Bell, yes. And the answer is McDonald's. I'm sorry, that was not correct. Britney Spears, you said? McDonald's, and the answer is
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
See, your font is so small, and my vision is
I think your eyes are too big. Justin Timberlake, you said?
McDonald's.
And the answer is
Taco Bell.
Oh, I'm sorry. And last but not least, you said
Mark
Zuckerberg, McDonald's, and the answer is
McDonald's.
So you've got just over 50% right. Well done. Well done. How did you do at home? Tweet us the answer at Seabass and Sarabel without the E, or send it to our Gmail, Seabass and Sarabel with the E.
Yeah.
Or just send a comment to us here on YouTube. We'll get it. Whatever you want to do. So what do you think of all the Butterfinger you've had to eat in the past half an hour?
I've had so much Butterfinger in the last half an hour. I am just Butterfingered out. However, there is ice cream once we leave the studio and head home.
Oh, there's ice cream at home.
There's ice cream at home.
Ben and Jerry's, I'm hoping.
No, it is chocolate covered cherries from Bonnettville, Blue Cow.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
That's delicious.
Yeah.
We haven't been to that. That makes me think of that dessert place we haven't been to in quite some time.
But desserts.
Yes.
Chocolate. My Super Bowl story.
Tell me your Super Bowl story.
My Super Bowl story.
I love the Super Bowl story.
The whole thing that I know nothing about because I am not...
We're not sports fans here.
We're not sports fans. Really not. Is that there was a Pennsylvania candy maker by the name of Bill Saris? Sorry,
Saris?
Bill Saris.
I would say Saris. I don't know.
He created a chocolate football with a dent in the side of it, and he shared the picture on social media, I believe Facebook. And the picture is really cute because it looks like a deflated football, and they're calling it the Brady ball. And there's a caption on it saying, "Net weight 13 pounds. Oops, we meant 11.2."
That is a riot.
And
that is really funny.
What's funny is since he posted the photo on social media, he's been getting stormed with calls asking if it's for sale.
I'm not surprised. That's really funny.
It is.
If you're not following it, if you're also like us, not sports fans, we'll just briefly tell you this is the weekend, or roughly the week or so after a football game was played, in which suddenly footballs were. It was a really definitive game.
PSI, yeah.
It was the game deciding who was going to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
And the footballs were suddenly found to not have the correct
PSI,
air pressure inside of them. It seems to me like, I mean, you know, I don't have an opinion on such things. It seems like if they're cheating, that's bullshit. On the other hand, the people from the team that were defeated, it sounded like, were quoted as saying, you know, we could have been playing with a stick of butter and we still would not have won, or something like that. Like, you know, it would have been the same either way.
It wouldn't have made any difference.
So there is that. Although, you know, the Super Bowl's now coming this weekend, and this is a big deal for it, so there's a big controversy.
Especially here in Arizona.
But I love
it is in Arizona.
that there's deflated chocolate Super Bowl footballs out there in the world.
Yeah, so that's really kind of neat.
Well done. Kudos to you. Tell us what deflated chocolate you have eaten. Send it to our Twitter, send it to our Gmail, send it to us on Facebook, or send it to us in our YouTube comments here.
I'm just thinking the Three Musketeers, you know, how they always have it like floating away because the chocolate and nougat is so light and fluffy.
I love me some Three Musketeers candy bars. I've not had one in a long time. No, they have. Wait, no, I have tried mint. I remember finding it to be very disappointing. Because we got to get out of here soon. But I thought the mint was disappointing. The two mint Three Musketeers bars I've had were very stale.
Oh, okay.
So I was never able to see what it was like with fresh, delicious nougat. It seemed like it would be good. The other mint things I've had, which are mint Hershey Kisses and mint M&Ms, I've enjoyed enormously. I thought they were amazing and really quite something. So I think I would like it if I could get a fresh one. Talk about what we're doing in our next thing. It's called Who's Your Daddy? What does Who's Your Daddy even mean?
Who's Your Daddy is who is the parent company of a number of snacks that I'm going to ask you about.
I can't wait. We have another big, exciting game, so join us for that as well. We also have more than that, though, coming up. I want to make sure I mention the other things. We're actually going to be having another edition of What Did I Just Eat? What are we going to be eating?
I don't know. I can't ever read your thing because it's so small.
We have these cookies.
Oh, the cookies!
That I've seen in the store. We're going to get us a pair of these cookies, or maybe a couple pairs.
Yeah, a couple pairs of these cookies. Brownie-filled cookies.
I don't know how I feel about this, but we're gonna give it a shot.
I'm excited. I'm honestly excited.
Here are the names of the people that make the program possible. I'm Sebastian.
I'm Sarah Bell.
We will see you next time.
Well, wasn't that fun? And again, you've caught the edition of was that on me the entire time? I hope not. Watching me pick my nose while I was watching that episode. I think it was watching. Anyway, it was a really good episode, and if you missed any part of it for any reason, it's on YouTube. Just youtube.com/Sebastian Central. As always, you can comment. You can send me a text or give me a call at this phone number if you ever feel like it. And, of course, Seabass After Dark is the show I do Sunday night through Thursday night, technically. And I do this on Saturday nights. So join me 24 hours from roughly now. If you'd like to hear more about kind of the news of the week, we'll do nerd news tomorrow night and maybe some classic game show viewing just for the shits and giggles. That is everything I had. By the way, next Saturday at this time, do not miss it. Sarah Bell will be back. Let's just pause the fast food baby documentary because I did not mean to click on that. Next week, Sarah Bell is back. Also, we'll be talking about sugar. Sweeteners, the story, do people who drink diet soda end up getting fatter than people who drink regular soda? Is HFCS really more dangerous for you than regular old-fashioned cane sugar? Is it really more popular? And one study that says sugar is as addictive as cocaine, and it's a really, really sort of very expansive topic. Feel free to send your thoughts. Feel free to participate. We'll be back 7 days from now, 10 p.m. Pacific Time, 0500 GMT, right here on the Fast Food and Junk Food Extravaganza. Make it a great week, everyone. Good night.